Hello, welcome to episode 89 of the Ascendant Art Podcast. As of right now, because Culture Casino hasn't sent his raid over, his chat, I'm pretty sure that Tina is probably the only person there right now at the moment, but we'll see. How
If
are you
she's
doing,
even there,
Slender?
I think she had like family stuff going on, so we might have no audience.
That's true. Oh, nope, she's here. She's
Oh,
here.
okay.
Yeah. Yay.
She didn't miss the face reveal.
Yeah, it should be noted that for Friday the 13th, ooh, spooky, Slender Dad has decided to reveal his slender face on camera. And for all of you people interested, he's faceless. There you
Yes,
go.
this is what my face looks like.
Aw. You gotta love. I appreciate Tina's commitment. Just finished dinner, right into the chat. So that's awesome. We really do appreciate Tina. She's probably next to Brahma, our most loyal viewer. So, yay. Good for her. Shout out to Tina. Her takes are great in chat. We've got some interesting topics across a wide variety of the entertainment spectrum for tonight. I was a little upset when I heard the first story that we're going to kind of talk about, which is Best Buy dropping physical media starting next year. It's kind of disappointing. I'm a big fan of physical media, so it's always sad when that goes away. And then we're going to kind of dovetail that with another story that also dropped today about Activision's, Microsoft's acquisition of Activision closing, finishing, clearing the final hurdle today, regulatory hurdle. So it's done. Microsoft owns Call of Duty.
Yeah.
So, and we'll
All
kind
you
of
people playing Diablo, you're Microsoft gamers now.
yay, you can. I'm sure the Minecraft Diablo tie-in will be awesome. You know they're going to do it too.
I
They're
didn't
going
even
to do
think
it.
of that.
You're going to get the Diablo Minecraft download. And then we've got some proof positive that Ahsoka sucks in terms of ratings, which we knew, but I was actually proven wrong this week. It happens sometimes. I had said that I expected episode 5, which was the Anakin Memberberry episode, to maybe have a jump, and it did not have any jump.
So I was right.
You were right. You were 100% right, Slender, because the only reason, and we'll show it, the only thing that went up is because of the additional time that episode had in running time. So it in fact it lost viewers if you base it on just full running time and how many people watched the full episode. And we've got another fun Taylor Swift running the world story, which is true. It happens. Taylor Swift is owning everything right now, including the rumor that she might be in Deadpool. And I think that's possibly a pretty interesting scenario. Anyway, with all that being said, how are you doing?
You talking to the chat or me?
You.
I mean, I'm doing great. Who's in the chat? Because I can't see a damn thing.
Right now, it's Tina and Bride of Slender.
Hold on. Let me. Okay, yeah, I see him.
Oh, yeah, you should get like the old lady reading glasses that are on the chain around your neck, and then you can bring them up. That would be awesome. Oh, because Slender, even though he's a slender dad and a supernatural being, we all need assistance reading tiny letters in chat.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little older now. You know, I'm not the young spry man I used to be. So I need my glasses.
Oh, Tina says, with the glasses, you look like Script Doctor in a suit. Script Doctor's funny. I would love to have him on one night to discuss, because with Slender over here also being a writer, it'd be an interesting conversation, because I appreciate where Script's coming from on a lot of things. Sometimes I disagree with some of the stuff he thinks would be awesome, but for the most part, I think he's got good takes. But I would just like to hear the conversation.
Yeah, that'd be
From
an interesting conversation. I am by no scripts are not my my area of expertise by any means. I do traditional writing, but I do consider my dialogue to be one of my strong suits. So it wouldn't be a huge leap over to a script. It's just very specifically, I'm a dialogue guy.
Well, we've got the raid incoming. So yay, thanks for coming on over, all the people coming from Culture Casino's channel. It looks like he must have just wrapped up his post-flight. So thank you for coming, all you raiders. One of them has got not having eyes probably doesn't help with the reading. That's true.
No, it really doesn't. The supernatural powers, they give me like, kind of a general image, but no clarity whatsoever.
Yep, and for all you joining us, please follow that advice from Miss Bad Take Bojan. Smash that like button, subscribe, and if you have not already, if you enjoy the show, I think most of the people coming from Culture's channel have indicated they're pretty happy with the way we do things here and enjoy what we talk about. So no reason not to subscribe. It's just going to help pad us our numbers so that we can eventually not be monetized.
Yeah. And nobody can complain today that we don't have the thing with somebody on camera, that we're just using avatars. Nobody could complain about that anymore.
Yeah, well, you're kind of a living avatar now, Slender.
It's true. It's true. My avatar looks very similar to me.
Now, speaking of complaints, I started and introed the show. This is my complaint right here, which is finding out that Best Buy is ending DVD and Blu-ray physical sales. It's sad.
So what are they going to just sell digital licenses in the store?
They are going to phase out all sales of Blu-ray and DVDs in store and on. This is what got me, and online. They're not even going to have it in a warehouse where you can order it online and have it shipped to you. They're just out of the physical media business starting in early 2024. So they're probably going to run really big Black Friday sales, try to sell out all of their physical media content, get it out of their warehouses and stores. Then they'll rearrange their stores and be out of the physical media business. Probably they'll keep selling records because records seem to be a really profit margin heavy item to sell in stores. I don't know why people keep adding records to stores, but no physical media. I guess we're going to have to all go to Walmart now for physical media if we want it.
So we're getting rid of modern media and we're bringing back shitty media.
Vertical Horizons, you will own nothings and eat the bugs. Yeah. The World Economic Forum 2030 plan is in full swing.
Yes. And if we decide that we no longer want Donald Trump in your copy of Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, then you will not have Donald Trump in your copy.
Yeah, and here's the thing that throws me off. So the quote from the Best Buy spokesman was, making this change gives us more space and opportunity to bring customers new and innovative tech for them to explore, discover, and enjoy.
Bullshit. Making this change gets them one step closer to doing away with the brick and mortar store altogether and selling everything online.
But I don't think Best Buy wins if they do that.
No, they don't.
Amazon crushes them on the just selling things online. But I know John Capello, guys, Best Buy can go screw. I know there's a lot of people who have negative opinions of Best Buy. I always enjoyed their physical media sales. Like around Black Friday, you could get a lot of movies for cheap, and I get physical media, not just buying it digital. I put it on my own Plex server that I run, which Slender's been enjoying the last few weeks.
Dude, I've been going through all my old favorites.
Yep. Let's see. Someone else. They'll replace Trump in Home Alone with Leslie Jones. That'll be awesome.
Probably.
Yeah, they did. Their steelbooks were really nice, and I think if they're reevaluating the business model, what they really need to do is reevaluate how much the physical media costs. Because if you go in store right now for a Blu-ray, they're charging like $24 for a newer movie, and like $30 for a 4K. That's too much money in the environment. And the reason physical media sales are down isn't because people don't want physical media. It's because you're still charging all that money, and you have streaming services where one movie is more expensive than in like 2 months of the streaming service.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. John, I just spent $200 plus on physical media pre-orders, not Best Buy. Best Buy steelbooks come damaged, and so does Amazon. Yeah, I understand that one.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to spend the money on a steelbook, I want to go and see it before I buy it, because if it comes in with a dent,
yeah, $30 for
anything for me.
I got last year. It's not even a movie I really enjoy, but they had Transformers Dark of the Moon on sale on Black Friday for like $3 for the steelbook.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm getting it. I was like $3. It was the Blu-ray with the with the DVD copy and all the whole thing. I was like, I can't say no to that for $3. And of course, we got Tina in here talking about they better hurry and get her Loki season 1 steelbook. I feel bad, Tina, because I don't think they're going to make a season 2 steelbook to go along with it, or it'll have to be like some boutique special order thing you'll have to find.
Yeah, you might have to custom order something like that, because I don't think they're going to put steelbooks into mass production for Loki.
Awesome one. That is not an AI avatar order. It is a real Slender Dad in person on camera.
Dude, this is me, baby.
You can tell because you see that air conditioning unit in the upper corner of the screen. That I don't think they would spend money to render that in AI.
No, I don't have a green screen or anything. I thought about it, but I was like, eh.
No, that's for fancy men like.
Unless this bit becomes a thing, no. And I'm gonna have trouble with the other bit where I just kill the show because I can't see the damn buttons.
You have to send me a private chat message for you to kill the show for you. Oh, we made Tina sad by saying that they wouldn't make a season 2 physical media disc.
I'm sorry, it's the truth.
It might be available at Walmart, I suppose. Walmart apparently represents 45% of physical media sales just by itself. And I was like, I can believe that.
Yeah, I can see that.
Loki season 1, it will come with a jockstrap for husband. Oh, no. You're getting into fighting words with Tina and Chad about making fun of Loki. That's her thing. That's her baby right there.
It is her baddest of takes.
I watched episode 2. It was not as good as episode 1. It was still inoffensive to me, but I actually enjoyed. They went back in time and were in like a 1970s McDonald's, and it was just nice seeing a McDonald's where it wasn't trying to have like healthy options, and it was just good, happy McDonald's food.
Dude, I miss the old McDonald's fries.
Yeah, the ones that were fried in beef tallow, which is why they tasted amazing.
The ones that were in fact so good that the other fast food chains filed a lawsuit against McDonald's and claimed they had a monopoly on French fries.
Yeah, that's not why McDonald's ended up switching. It was, I believe there was some lawsuits out of India because it was beef tallow, and they didn't make it clear that the fries were fried in beef tallow. So obviously for people who are devout Hindu, that can be a problem because beef products are not supposed to be consumed. And they ended up having to, I think that's when they switched to vegetable oil, and the fries just went down several notches from there.
Yeah, they did. They did.
John's correct that the selection at most Walmarts in store is not great. So again, that's another thing. We're on I do all my physical media purchasing pretty much on Black Friday sales, I don't go in to try to, hip check someone to get a $200 computer. I go to get the $3 movies for Blu-rays and 4Ks that are like $3 or $4, and they're usually still there hours into Black Friday, and you get some good options.
Yeah, I don't do Black Friday. There's too many people. I don't really like people. So
I'm just waiting.
Cyber Monday though. I'll do Cyber Monday.
Well, you're the reason Best Buy is not carrying this stuff around anymore. But I think
no, I'm not, because I've never been a customer.
That's true. But what I think what is interesting, so taking one step further, which is what we like to do here sometimes, from the Best Buy ending physical media sales, there's another story that I think that we've talked about that kind of goes hand in hand in that, which is Microsoft closed their acquisition of Blizzard today officially. The last regulatory hurdle, or I think it was the United Kingdom was holding, or EU, one of them was holding it up, and they finally gave the clearance, so it's done.
Yeah, I think the UK was like, but they'll have a monopoly if they buy that.
Oh, $6 million manhole series, that would be a good one. I would put that one on the MyPlex server in a heartbeat. Let's see, about 10 to 15 years ago, I was buying CDs from Walmart until YouTube offered $10 a month for unlimited music and ad for YouTube. I was spending about 60. Yeah, that's how they get you. They start it when it's low and you think you're getting a deal. And now all of a sudden, what's YouTube premium cost now? Like 20,
it's like $20, $22, I think.
Yeah, $22 a month.
That being said, I mean, originally for music, I followed, I think what most people followed was I used to buy CDs. And then Napster became a thing. And then when Napster stopped being a thing, I eventually found my way to Pandora. But then YouTube started offering music, and I'm like, so I can get music on Pandora, or I can get music on YouTube and get commercial-free viewing on all of YouTube's other stuff. YouTube's still a better deal, and I got rid of Pandora, and I went to YouTube.
Yeah, one of my brothers is big into Spotify and kept telling me, I was like, I have YouTube Premium. I don't have to watch ads, which is
Spotify.
God, I hate the ads. Which today I think I started hearing stories that YouTube started blocking anybody who had ad blocking web browser extensions. You weren't able to watch any YouTube videos if you had that. Now, if you have YouTube Premium, no problem. You can have your ad blocker on because you're paying to bypass the ads. So yeah, YouTube, I don't think it's that much, but YouTube is the only streaming service that. Now, I think Slender might be like me. I have the family option for YouTube Premium. That's probably what you have as well, I'm guessing. The family plan where
everybody can use it.
It's like 6 users. You can add 6 users to your family, and they all can share the YouTube Premium.
Yeah, although one of my daughters absolutely refuses to set it up. Like, I've told her, go ahead, set it up, but she doesn't. She's like, but I kind of like the commercials. And we were watching a video on her YouTube earlier today, and I shit you not, 90 seconds into the video, we got 2 commercials back to back, couldn't be skipped.
I know YouTube's going to be getting into
5 minutes later, 2 more commercials, and then 5 minutes after that, 2 more commercials. And I'm like, we just watched like 8 commercials on what was a 12-minute video.
Oh, it's going to be ridiculous. I know that Amazon is going to start putting more ads into their shows too. Everything is just going to be ads. And I think the thing with digital is you're going to end up with more ads than you had on over-the-air television.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy. Does YouTube Studio show when an ad pops up during a live stream now? I have no idea. We're not monetized, so
I don't think we have commercials either way.
I mean, maybe YouTube puts an ad on our content, but that'd be kind of messed up if they did. I'm sure
I was going to say they better not. If they do, I want revenue. Damn it! I better get my 3 cents.
And so Microsoft with Activision. So that what I'm getting at with the physical media thing, Microsoft is 100% trying to push people into a digital only ecosystem with subscription based services. The Xbox Live one comes to mind.
That's the only reason I can think of that they wanted to acquire Blizzard Activision in the first place, because those guys ain't exactly been putting out bangers over the last decade or so.
Call of Duty basically is the thing that kept Activision alive. They also, I guess, Diablo dropped Diablo 4, and you played that.
Yeah.
They did also have they were a part of the Destiny partnership with Bungie, but they sold off their share to Bungie. So they're out of that one. They probably got out at a good time because Destiny's been in a bad state for a while now. Let's see. Dish Network had about 10-minute commercial between shows, mostly big farm ads. Well, that's cool. We don't get a lot of farm ads on the TV. I guess they're not being geotagged to where we're at, even though I am around a lot of farms, so I guess they don't feel like they need to advertise.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know, because I remember Xbox got in trouble. Was it when the PlayStation? Yeah, when the PlayStation 4 was launching, and what model Xbox was it against PlayStation 4? It was
the Xbox One.
Was it the Xbox One? Okay, yeah, probably. So, but Xbox was trying to do a digital only. Like you weren't going to need even if you bought a disc, you were going to have to be online to be able to even play the game.
I mean, that's most games now.
Well, this was even to just be able to play. I know that most games actually are running. The disc does a basic install and then it runs through online.
Mm-hmm.
But Xbox, you remember the controversy. Xbox was getting in trouble because they were going to have a requirement that it had to be online to play.
Right.
And PlayStation jumped right in and snaked them and was like, nope, you don't have to be online with PlayStation to play a game. You just have to have a disc. Yep. Awesome One notes, my favorite game, Destiny, is now, yay. It got bad. I'm waiting to maybe hopefully they do like a Taken King style comeback before I jump back on, but I don't see that happening.
I don't know, dude. I played Destiny. I never thought it was that good. It was like, I mean, there's good gameplay and good content here, but there's practically none of it. Like, there's just so very little. And coming off an MMO like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14 or any of those, it's like, yeah, Destiny's not an MMO. Not even close. Like Borderlands was bigger than Destiny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Destiny's disappointing. I was there since the alpha. I was an alpha download on PlayStation playing Destiny back when Peter Dinklage was still the voice of the Ghost and everything like that. And man, they lost me, and I can't. I'm not coming back. John says, I've been collecting Arcade 1-Up games. Arcade 1-Up makes nice machines at a pretty affordable price for arcade machines. I mean, they're still $400 or $500 a piece. But when you compare that to what arcade machines usually run, that's actually a pretty solid price. And there's a couple Arcade 1-Ups that I would really enjoy having in my house. There's the Terminator 2 one with the actual light gun attachments. But I would really love if they did the Aliens one with the assault, the assault rifle light gun. Maybe even a Time Crisis with pedal. But
Time Crisis would be cool as shit.
The problem is that you remember how often those broke in the arcade because they actually had the slide back on the guns.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I played the hell out of Time Crisis. We had, but the one I played the most was House of the Dead, and that's because
pretty good.
That's because it was in the movie theater I worked at, and we had the keys to the arcade machines to collect the money.
So you could play unlimited for free?
I flipped it to free mode after we closed, and I just played, and I got so good at, because it's all about just knowing the pattern. Like I got so good at knowing the pattern, having played it free so many times all the way through. I would go to impress people, and I would put put them out in one credit win, which back then was 75 cents, and I would just like basically beat the game off of it. It's cool. Oh, Mr. Brahma, we got two people on camera now.
Hey, Brahma!
Yeah. What's up?
And for Friday the 13th, Slender apparently is powered up enough to be present.
Yes, I can manifest my physical form.
Actual splendor form. Nice.
Awesome one. It wasn't a coin on a string. If you actually had the key to the arcade machines, it was just a little switch to turn it to free mode, and then you could just keep. And then you just hit the like player start button, and it would just add credits, credit. It's almost like when you have an arcade 1-up machine, and you just hit the button for it, and it just adds your credits to it. Hey.
Well, and you can just open up the coin door, and it's just a tiny little filament of metal that you just flip like 50 times, and it's 50 credits.
Yeah, well, that threw off how much money we were supposed to send the vendor. So
right.
So when we're supposed to fill out the form and they dump the like audit logs, it was a lot better to flip the switch to free mode. So,
yeah,
because it was a Namco, like Namco used to supply the games to your waiting room. Man, Hydro Thunder was the most fun to play. That one was awesome.
Hydro Thunder was pretty good.
Yeah. That was like not having to pay and being able to play that all the time was fantastic. So what do you think of this news that Xbox, by way of Microsoft, officially owns Activision Blizzard now? You think Diablo is going to be better off because of it?
I don't know. I think it's mostly just so that they can distribute, through their Xbox Live plans. So
yep.
I don't know that it's going to make a major difference on the actual game programming or, what they're actually putting out.
Well, I mean, Blizzard Activision hasn't exactly been making great games lately.
No.
More and more, they're kind of riding the same thing that Bethesda's been doing to keep themselves alive for the longest time. Where Bethesda's like, "Hey, we made a new version of Skyrim. We're going to charge you full price for what is essentially a graphical update. Here you go. Hey, we made another new version of Skyrim, but we'd like to charge you full price for what is essentially a graphical update." And
it's remastered
squared and their whole.
Hey, we went back to vanilla World of Warcraft, so you guys can play on that server again, but you got to buy the game again.
After we forced everybody to shut down the classic servers that they had made private servers.
Yep. Hey, we're re-releasing Wrath of the Lich King because you guys really liked that, right? But we'd like you to buy it again. It's
man, awesome. I'm intrigued now to see how old Awesome One actually is. If he's saying he had Joust, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Centipede, and some shooter game in our theater. Either your theater that you worked at or went to had really old arcade machines, or you're a lot older than you seem in your avatar and through dial. So
dude, I had Joust on Nintendo. That game was fun. Also, very, very difficult.
Yeah. There is something nice about playing on a console, like an actual arcade console versus a game, even compared to like PC gaming. I like standing up, being at the arcade machine and playing the game that way. It just seems more right. I guess that's from when where we grew up playing those, but
well, I mean, the one that I've got, the pedestal that I had in my background for a while, the thing only cost me what $1,200, and it's loaded with every arcade game you can think of that didn't use like crazy peripherals.
I mean, that's the thing. I have a main machine running Windows XP still because that's how old. Because I never bothered updating the computer because it's not online. It's just got the old ROM, and all I run are old arcade ROMs on it, like Dig Dug and Pac-Man, Joust, Ghouls and Goblins, Ghosts and Goblins. Like those things run perfectly. Oh, I love 1943. Galaga is another one that's fantastic, and I got the I got the arcade X Arcade Tank Stick. With the roller in the middle. So when I play Missile Command, I actually have the roller to move things around. it's so much fun compared to some of the new games.
Yeah, my family, my dad had a Galaga machine, but I was the only one who ever used it because nobody would ever play with me. Because on 1/4 at an arcade on Galaga, I can go for almost 4 or 5 hours on 1/4. I've gotten to like level 347 or something like that, and cycled through the million spot. I think my best was 3 times before I just got bored. So
Yeah, John over here, we had such cool childhoods. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that anyone who basically was born mid 70s through about 1987, 88 probably had the best childhood window the United States has ever offered and probably will for a long time, because we had basically a fairly peaceful life. We didn't have to worry about depressions or wars or any of the rest. We had basically the video game revolution started as we were kids. We got the peak arcades, peak home entertainment systems with Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, N64, Sega Dreamcast. Like we've lived the best childhood. We also didn't have internet and social media messing with our heads.
And we still knew how to play outside.
We didn't have internet and social media messing with our heads, and we also didn't. We beat all the teachers who came in right after we were finishing up school that are now convincing our children that their lives suck and they should be miserable. And it's like, kids, you don't know how good you freaking have it. Like,
I think the Matrix nailed it when, if everybody remembers the little monologue that Agent Smith had. We rebuilt the Matrix after the first one was too nice. People didn't like it. We rebuilt it to be the late 90s, early 2000s, the peak of human civilization. I'm like, yeah, they might be right. That might have been our peak, where where you could live a pretty happy life, take care of your family, enjoy yourself. Your kids were happy. So that was kind of peak.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
all downhill from here.
Yeah. Which is why I don't like the subscription service systems, because I think it's, not to get political, but I know Brahma might agree on this. I think it's kind of all tied into that WEF 2030 agenda, where you never actually own anything. You're just paying to access a service, and that's all you're ever going to get is paid service to, paid access. You don't own your own physical media. You don't own the game anymore. You just own a license to access it. You'll own nothing and you'll like it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is something I pity about the younger generation coming up right now, because it's like, you guys will never be able to buy a house. Like, thank God I managed to close on mine before it got too bad. But like, pretty soon you'll never be able to buy a house. You're gonna rent your whole life. So, you're just half of every paycheck is just gonna go to the landlord. You'll never have anything to
nothing
show for
and
it.
like it.
Yeah, John's right. They're trying to do that with cars, subscriptions for heated seats. Yeah, they're now doing this thing where your cars, like your add-on features for your car, are going to be based on a subscription you have to like the Mercedes or BMW or whichever manufacturer, like premium service plan. And that's what will unlock the features in your car. I think it's from a manufacturing standpoint, it's smart, because what they're going to probably do now is they're going to manufacture just one trim level, and you will pay to unlock the features based on your access subscription, because that allows you to reduce the amount of factory workers you need and lines you have at the instead of making. I know Fords, right? So instead of making an S,
dude, and
an
then you
SE,
can hire somebody who's good with tech, and they can jailbreak your car, and you can unlock all those features without paying anybody.
Till you brick your Ford.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm sorry. Did you try to do an unauthorized firmware update? Your car's now bricked. You're gonna have to buy a new one.
No factory resets.
No factory resets. Your Apple, you're gonna have Apple Care on your car, and they're gonna tell you bricked it.
Well, and this is the annoying part to me is I get it. Like, it's a great business model to a certain extent when you can sell things as a service and you can have those subscriptions baked in and everything. But like a car isn't that kind of thing, you know?
John,
Like
I
I
have a
want to
fourth-
buy my car and then we're done. Our transaction has completed. I no longer need to work with you, you know, Nissan, Toyota, Hyundai, Ford, Chevy. Like once I bought the vehicle from you, our business has concluded.
John apparently is outing himself as being a resident of Massachusetts because he has a 14-year-old car that has 98,000 miles on it, is in great shape according to mechanic because you take care of it. Really, change your oil and rotate your tires, and you're going to get a lot of miles out of your car with not very much effort. Even though your
Yeah,
oil
but if
life
you want
might-
heated seats, apparently you're going to have to pay them $12 a month.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if I lived out somewhere west where it got very, very cold, I would probably pay for the heated seats.
I got along without heated seats for long enough. I can go without them now.
When I was a teenager,
my minivan has heated seats, but I would never pay a subscription fee for them.
Right.
It came with the vehicle that I bought used. And I told them, listen, it's great that it has heated seats and all, but that's not raising the price for me. It's not something I need.
It's funny because when I was a teenager, my first car, because we all had kind of junkers, right? I think that was the normal experience when you were 16. They didn't buy you a brand new car. I think that's a new thing that people do now for their kids, either a new car or a newer used car. No, I had a 10-year-old car, which, by the way, when it was an 80s car, 10 years was a lot of years on an 80s car. They didn't build them so great back then. And the air conditioning didn't really work. And so in Virginia in August, guess what? It was really, really hot. And as a teenager, I put the windows down and I just drove, and I was fine with it then. As an older gentleman now, I was like, I just can't imagine living my life without air conditioning in the summer in my car. It's like, no, there's some creature comforts I'm going to maintain. Tina over here.
Heating and AC better not be on a. I can understand heated seats, like luxury stuff. I mean, I still don't understand it. I still think it's BS. But the luxury items, if they were going to do the subscription thing, that would be the only thing that should be that. It better not be AC, heat, electric windows.
Dude, pretty soon you won't be able to listen to music in your car unless you pay for the radio stations.
I don't use radio stations anyway.
I just use Android Auto.
They're not going to let you Bluetooth to it anymore. Like the phone ain't going to hook up to it. That would be a wireless extra that you have to pay a subscription for.
Let's
AirPods.
See, Tina says, I have a 20-year-old Toyota Highlander with around 80,000 miles. It's my baby with leather heat. If I lived in Chicago, I would want heated seats. Definitely. I would. Because it gets really cold when you go out to Subway at 3 a.m. and it's MAGA country. So you got to make sure you can stay in your car with heated seats. Otherwise, bad things will happen. Jesse Smolite knows that.
Yeah, but he didn't give up his sandwich though.
No, and he kept the noose around his neck afterwards.
All right, so we're gonna go because I want to see if Brahma, you may have noticed in sports lately, there's been one major story, and her name is Taylor Swift. I watch football, and for some reason, even watching football, all I hear about now is Taylor damn Swift, and it's crazy. And she's apparently going to be in Deadpool 3, which is because for people who are football fans, you may have noticed it was a couple weeks back when they were playing, when her supposed boyfriend Travis Kelce of the Chiefs and they were playing the Jets in New York. The luxury box she was in, Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and Sean Levy, who is the director of Deadpool 3, were all in the luxury box with her. And there didn't really seem to be any other ties connecting Taylor Swift to these specific people. It was kind of weird. Like, why is Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds and Sean Levy, Levy, whatever is his name, in here. And the rumor is that she's going to, and Tina Bojan nailed it, play Dazzler in Deadpool 3.
I
really
don't get the love for Taylor Swift. I think her music is subpar, and I think in the looks category, she's mid.
She can't even sing, right? Like she uses auto tuning.
So my wife is, a woman, right? So they say these things. She's like, for what gets her about Taylor Swift is she's like her hair. Her hair is like terrible. Like it's always seems like it's disheveled and not well kept. And she's like, she clearly has the money for it. Like there's no excuse for why her hair looks that way. I mean, it seems of all the things to go after Taylor Swift for, that's kind of a pettier thing. But I was like, yeah, that's a woman thing. That's what they do.
I mean, I would go for the fact that she can't even sing.
So I was thinking about it because I was like, I didn't really, I was like, Taylor, it seems like to me, Taylor Swift hasn't been, has been around a long time and should have burnt out. But if you look at it compared to other artists, she's been super prolific. She's put like albums out like every year to 18 months since she started, like full albums. Like maybe I think 2 years was the longest between albums for her.
Well, she's got a lot to say after each of her breakups.
Which, I mean, and we all make fun of it. But I think looking back, one of the reasons why musical artists tend to burn out is because they do their albums that are really huge and then they tour for like 3 years. And then they go back into the studio and spend another year making albums. So there might be 4 years between albums. Like I look back at somebody like Prince, right? Remember, all of a sudden he just disappeared and wasn't putting albums out anymore. Like, and I think with music, if you're not putting that new content out, you start disappearing and getting replaced by the newer models of whatever type of music you do.
You fade from the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah, and Taylor Swift has managed to, by continually putting out new albums, maintain her presence. It's actually, from a business side, fairly impressive. I don't think I've ever heard a musical artist be as prolific over this length of a term as Taylor Swift.
Right.
I mean, even the Beatles, they were really prolific for a short period and then they broke up and were done. But I think one of the reasons the Beatles were managed to stay as popular as they were is they were putting out a good amount of albums for the time period they were active. They didn't just have like two. If you look at modern artists over the time period the Beatles were going, they would probably have maybe 2 or 3 albums at the most compared to what the Beatles were putting out.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and they were touring.
And they were going to India and having new age awakenings. And doing lots and lots of drugs. So I'm sure, I don't know about Taylor Swift. She probably, I don't know. She just does breakups. That's her emotional drug. I can't wait for the sports themed album once she breaks up with Travis Kelce. Till, I think this is what I was going to get at with Brahma. I feel like she's slowly making her way to being with a hockey player.
Likely.
Because that's where a lot of celebrities, women, end up settling. And it seems like they end up pretty happy with hockey players.
It's where a lot of country music stars do, and she started off in country music.
Mm. So,
and hockey players have to do a lot less performance-enhancing drugs, so they're probably less violent with their significant others.
No Benoiting.
No, yeah. What I love about hockey players, aside from the fact that they have to get full removable dentures by most of their mid-20s from getting, at least the older ones before they had the face cages, hit in the face with the pucks, is and Brahma, who does his Bourbon and Board show on Saturday nights, right?
Yep, Saturday nights, 10 p.m. Mountain.
Yep, 10 p.m. Mountain. Rumble only or both?
Rumble for me. That 70s rock fan does the YouTube side of it.
Nice.
We each get a piece.
Yep. Nice. Good stuff. So people should check that out if they have even a passing interest in hockey. I always loved the injury designations for hockey players, Slender. I don't know if you probably didn't pay much attention to it. So when other sports, you're going to get a specific thing. Like in football, it's going to say Tom Brady was questionable with a left shoulder injury. With a hockey player, you're going to get he has a lower body injury.
Lower
And you're
body
like,
or upper body. They can have
lower
their
body
head
or
taken
upper
off,
body.
and it's an upper body injury.
And that's all you get for the injury report. And you're like, what does that mean? And then you find out after it's like the most dramatic. Like these guys will play in the playoffs and they'll just have these vague injury descriptions and like, what is it? Oh, he had like internal bleeding, cracked ribs, contusions of this stuff. And it was, what did you report?
So what was the upper body injury? Oh, he was decapitated. Why did you say he was questionable?
In the playoffs last year, Cogliano gets hit, goes to the back. They say he's questionable with an upper body injury. Comes back, finishes the game. Find out before the next game, oh yeah, he's got a broken neck. And I feel for the rest of the time, but he came back and played in that game.
Damn.
Personally, and this is, I'm not, not for nothing. She runs her own personal life. I feel like Taylor Swift needs a hockey player to get her back just kind of straight and narrow, not crazy. The hockey player would work that right out.
Dude, Taylor Swift needs to surround herself with people that are wholly unlike the people that she is currently around and grow the fuck up.
Well, yeah. Well, she also the football player she's dating is a spokesperson for a pharmaceutical company that starts with a P and ends in an
Yep.
And likes to give people jabs. So,
did you see the stuff with Aaron Rodgers and him?
Oh yeah. So Aaron Rodgers, I'm going to be honest. Aaron Rodgers in the last 6 months has made me like him so much more than I ever did before. I watched Hard Knocks and I kind of was like, this guy's kind of funny. And then he's been on the Pat McAfee show pretty regularly. That's done a lot to rehab his image. But Slender, you'll like it because he called him, he branded him Mr. Pfizer as the like. He's like, our defense did pretty solid. We didn't give up a lot of points. We kept Mr. Pfizer in check. and so they asked Travis Kelce about it, and he was like, oh, I guess what did he call he called Aaron Rodgers Mr. Anti-vax or something. And Aaron Rodgers was like, Aaron Rodgers was like, oh, you want to debate, bro? I'm down. Let's do this.
I think Rodgers said, you bring Dr. Fauci with you to the debate. And I can't remember who Rodgers said he was going to bring to the debate, but he said, we'll do a doubles debate.
Yeah, it was hilarious. It was pretty funny.
Dude, Dr. Fauci and Alex Jones.
Oh,
I would pay to see a debate like
Jones
that.
would just tear him apart.
Slender, we're not on Rumble like we were on the second half of
that's why I didn't
Wednesday
do the impression.
Show. Okay, good. For people who enjoy that kind of humor, when the Wednesday, what is the name of the show we do on Wednesday now? It keeps changing. Is it?
I think it's back to the dump.
The Wednesday dump.
Just the Wednesday dump.
Yeah, because I think the Saturday show is Talking Random now. So anyway, so the Wednesday dump is now going to have an exclusive Rumble window, after it gets started, and we had a lot of fun on that. we were enjoying not having to worry about YouTube a little too much.
Did you get Scott talking about any union stuff?
No, Scott wasn't on the show. I mean, it's a rare sighting for Scott to be on his channel.
For Scott to be on his own channel, yeah.
He stopped in for like a moment, right?
Yeah, he had to tell Tina how to close out the YouTube side to go exclusive to Rumble.
Oh yeah.
And oh my God, did you see the all right, Slender, you'll enjoy this. The SAG, they got the producers to walk away from the table completely yesterday because they made a new demand in their negotiations. This is the most.
Yeah, I was so happy about that. I was like, the strike still lives.
Do you want to hear what their new demand is that they absolutely want from all the movie studios?
I do, because I haven't read the story since
they want
manifested 50 my material form. I can't read right now.
Yeah, they want 57 cents for every subscriber to the streaming services paid to the union.
be
yearly.
distributed amongst the actors.
Dude, fuck you.
Well, it's hilarious because these streaming services don't even make money. Only Netflix is generating profit.
Yeah.
So they wanted to, these are not profitable on anyway, and they want to now shave 57 cents per subscriber off the base. Like, and then
Dude, this is the problem. It's a very similar problem to the whole car thing, where like I would like to buy a car, and then that would be the end of our transaction. We have no further business. Everybody wants a piece of the pie, and it's like, okay, actors, okay, writers, okay, you people who are involved on that side of it, you're part of the production. You're not selling the product. You're manufacturing the product. The product is the movie. You, as someone who works on the manufacturing side of the product, are not entitled to the profits from the selling of the product unless you want to start putting in your own money and investing in the manufacture of the product. Since you are not doing that and you are collecting a paycheck, you don't get money from the selling of the product. So here's how it works. Either you collect your paycheck and shut the fuck up, or you stop collecting your paycheck and you put money into the product, and then you take whatever you get from the profits of the sale of the product. You don't get to be on both sides making money in this process. You don't get to be manufacturing and sales. You're one or the other.
Well, that it's funny because Awesome One brings up it sounds like the former CEO of Unity. Yeah, because you're starting to getting a little greedy. But so we'll move real quick because going into why this is such a terrible ask. Look at this. We were talking about Ahsoka, which was a $200 million production, lost about 40%. Or something ridiculous. Like it only, I'm going to say, according to Samba TV, for its finale, only 863,000 households viewed it, whereas the premiere, 1.2 million households viewed it.
So they lost like 30% of their audience.
Exactly. And this was one of the highest budget shows on the Disney Plus streaming service. I'm sure Rosario Dawson got paid well. And this is not making money. Nobody is subscribing to Disney Plus to watch this show.
But they want a share of every subscriber, right? I'll take it back. Yes. I'll give them something along those lines. How about this? We'll give you a share of the money that we make off of all of these. But if that is negative, we will apply that negative amount of money to your paycheck.
Did anybody ever see the Mr. Deeds with Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember the part because he finds out he owns the New York Jets, and the quarterback of the Jets comes in and was like, I had a great year. I want to renegotiate my contract. And he looks at him and goes, if you had a terrible year, could I renegotiate to pay you less? And he's like, fuck no. And he's like, well, I'm not going to, then why should I have to pay you more because you had a good year when you agreed to this contract? Like, they're making unreasonable demands, after they already got in. And
they've had a couple of bad years, but I am sure that their contracts were not renegotiated to pay them less.
Here's something awesome. I canceled D Plus after a couple of episodes of the boring Mando show. If I was the studios, I would come back and be like, hey, if we do a show where people start canceling, we lose subscribers after it premieres, can we ask money back from the union at that point? Can we? Right. Can you have to pay us back $1
guys,
for every sub lost?
A defective product. I'd like a refund.
Because Disney would be
they should also then be allowed to have some input in who's writing, who's directing, and who's producing, if they're going to be paying for it on the back end.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And so this was for the finale. So this is now I'm going to switch because Slender and I were talking. Last week we were looking at the Nielsen ratings, and I had said that I thought episode 5 of Ahsoka would see a bump because it was the Anakin member berries episode. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that
No,
was
I saw
actually
enough of Ahsoka to know that this wasn't going to hold people, regardless of what kind of key jangling they did.
so. Yeah, so on the surface, if you look at this, Ahsoka did 577 million minutes viewed, which is more than about 470 that it did last week. So that sounds great, except for the fact that this episode 5 was longer than the episode last week. And when you factor in how much longer the episode was, they actually lost viewers by week 5. It went down again. They had about an 8% decrease in viewership if you divide the amount viewed by the actual length of the episode to get the viewer count compared to what it was the previous week. So Slender, I admit defeat. You were correct. I had thought that the member berries would be strong enough to get people in. You were correct that no, people just don't give a shit about Ahsoka and are bailing on it. So
Yeah, dude, nobody gives a shit about any of what is his name, Filoni? Any of his characters right now. They were great in the animated series, but the casting was wrong. The casting is wrong. The art direction is wrong. The actors, they're not playing the characters well at all. They're trying to make them more real and more grounded because it is live action, and it's like, this is not working. It's just not working at all, and everybody can see it's not working.
it isn't.
I didn't
working.
watch an episode.
I don't blame you. I watched them and I feel worse for having seen it. It's like going back to an Adam Sandler one. It's like Billy Madison. I feel dumber now for having watched the 8
Oh yeah,
episodes
you didn't miss a
of
damn
Ahsoka.
thing.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I still had to hear about it every week through comics, but
I would have gone. I feel like I was better off watching Continental. Way better watching Continental.
oh yeah,
and
watch good show, not crap.
Although I
And,
do gotta say, I agreed with comics. I think you guys all rated Continental a little higher than it deserved to be rated. Him putting it
Continental's
at a 6 to a 7.
It's an 8. It's a solid. It's a solid 8.
I think solid 8.
Yeah.
I think the first episode is a solid 9, and the last episode is a solid 8. But I think the middle episode is a solid 6 and pulls it down to around a 6.5, 7.
I just don't think you're giving. We've gone over this now several times, and I know where you're coming
That's okay.
from.
We don't
I
have a lot of
understand.
topics today, so we can go over it again.
All right, I understand why you feel that way. It was a slower episode, but me and Brom are on the same page with this. You need
And yes,
the breather.
and you keep circling back to it being a slower episode, which is a straw man, because that is not why I think that episode sucks. I think that episode sucks because of the fight in the back of the El Camino, the girl bossing that keeps happening, and the fact that they spend entirely too much time trying to establish storyline that doesn't matter. It's not that it's slow, it's that it's not focused on the right thing.
This is where I disagree again, because each of those storylines were threads that were picked up and finished in the finale to, I think, very strong degrees. I thought the female detective storyline really, was really good because of the payoff that you get.
Okay, I get what you're saying, but how much of the female detective storyline was helped along in the second episode?
It was, that was the one where she walked in the Continental.
Fucking none.
No, remember that was the one where she goes in and tries to pay for the drink with the money. So she's discovering the world and has different rules.
Yeah.
And I thought that, and you even agreed that was a really strong scene.
How did that help her thread tie up in the third episode?
Because it's established
she knew that she needed the gold coin off of the guy that she killed.
Yeah, it gave her the introduction to, like, by being in the hotel, she saw that the currency of the realm was gold coins passed from person to person for goods and services. And she used that to get in for the third episode.
Okay.
She gained knowledge from the second episode to use in the third episode to then be in a position to take her revenge.
And when the way they framed it, it wasn't someone telling her, she was actually making the observation because she's supposed to be a detective. When she was in the room, she picked up that everybody was paying with these gold coins for whatever they were getting. And then she applied that knowledge when she was there in the third episode.
Actually, yeah. Now that you mention it, that bugs the shit out of me too.
Okay, now you're just
No. Because she asked about a room to the lady behind the front counter and was told we have no rooms available. Then the next time she came in, she showed a coin and asked the same lady at the front counter, and then the lady was like, "Oh, okay, it's cool." It's like, no, dude,
You
you
can't
already
deny
got
services
made.
if the coin's paid.
that's part of the rules. It's
That's
their
not
Part of the
part
rules
No.
of the world.
Yeah,
A
they've
coin
established-
is
She
a
already
coin.
got made. They were practically going to kill her the first time she was in there.
they don't. All right, what happens outside the doors of the Continental for her to get that gold coin? They just, maybe it was her first time. Anyway, the rules are very established over 4 John Wick movies that a coin gets you a room. So it is what it is.
It is the rules of the world.
I have a lot of questions about the economics of how much a coin is worth for all
Yeah,
these good
'cause
we've talked about.
One
'Cause it
drink is a
seems-
coin and a room is a coin.
is a coin, and then like a stack of coins for, we've talked about the guy who cleaned up the 3 or 4 bodies in the first movie. Remember, he gave him a fat stack.
Well,
I'm
I think it was
assuming-
one for each of the bodies.
No,
Yeah,
I think
maybe.
he gave him more than one per body.
I'm thinking that the guy also does the like the actual contracting.
But then
repair
again, there
work.
were a lot of bodies.
Maybe that's how it works. I don't know, but like what a coin is worth is interesting, because I think when they go to Rome in the second movie, and doesn't he only give 1 coin to the sommelier who gives him like all the personal arsenal? So,
But okay, moving on.
I can't remember
You've
if he
talked
gives
about the
him more.
detective girl.
anyway, yeah.
You've
I think-
talked about the detective girl.
All right, karate woman. Her storyline comes full circle in the
Worthless
third-
character.
I don't think so.
She's a worthless
think-
character.
She was there.
She was
to
the connection from Frank to Winston finding each other again.
Yeah,
I get that, but I still consider her a worthless character.
I disagree. I thought
Like,
I
she
liked-
could have connected them and then not had anything else to do with the story, and it would have been just fine.
So it's one thing to have a fast-paced movie where you just are constantly moving from the beginning to end, but there is also something to be said to have a little bit of room for character, and I didn't mind her character. I know I will grant you that the fight in the El Camino was not choreographed especially well and pulled
No, it was
things
crap.
down a little bit, but that's why by the third episode, when they gave her payoff, she didn't have to fight them again. She used tools that were available to her from where she lived to handle the business. And then when she did have a fight, she got her ass kicked and was about to die till we got another payoff that was given that is storyline and character related, for her to be able to save herself and her brother. I mean,
Right.
because
I'd have
that
more
dude,
problem with the kid than I would her.
I have a problem with the kid too. I think the kid was
I don't doubt that you do.
it's just a huge MacGuffin. I hated
here
the
we go. Plot twist from Vertical Horizons. They're all chocolate coins. So Willy Wonka is the head of the high table. And
Yeah.
and these are all chocolate coins.
Oh,
would be-
that's,
oh my
that's
God.
why they stole the press, was because they were trying to make more chocolate.
Holy
A
shit.
Wild
That is,
Mad Cheesemo is in the chat.
I really want to see somebody do a parody where Willy Wonka is the high table guy. Mad Cheesemo here on Friday the 13th. I thought that Mad, who is personal close friends with a certain man who really likes to do things on Friday the 13th, Jason himself, might not be here tonight because that guy, he parties like crazy on the Friday the 13th. So
Oh yeah.
sometimes if you go to Mad's channel, I think there may even still be clips with Jason Voorhees personally appearing. I can't remember which things are still up and which things aren't. But man, Ahsoka blows. Look at these stats, and which is why we just spent more time talking about the Continental just because it was more fun.
There's
I have
more
more
to
fun.
talk about in the Continental, that's for sure.
I have more fun arguing with you on why you're wrong, which you are, about the Continental than I do talking about the entire series of Ahsoka. And for the love of God, when I was a kid, if someone had told me we'd have all this Star Wars content and I wouldn't give a shit and I'd rather be talking about some random new show, I would have been like, you're crazy. Like, there's no way. Like, oh, Grand Admiral Thrawn's going to be in a live action show that they spent 200 million on, and it's going to be stupid. I'd be like, you're taking crazy pills over here. It's going to be awesome. Have you read Heir to the Empire? Thrawn is the best villain that they could have in Star Wars. He's such an opposite kind of character to what they've had before with Vader and the rest. It'll be great. Nope, it wasn't.
Up until the Yuuzhan Vong, he was the only other real threat. I mean, they tried to have other ones, but I've read all of the EU. Thrawn was the best one up until they brought in the Vong.
Thrawn was great, and the Yuuzhan Vong was great. And what both of them had in common was they were completely new ways to attack the Jedi in the Rebellion / Republic. You've got Thrawn, who was, if you read the books, and this is something you won't get at all from watching the Ahsoka show, Thrawn never actually loses because he made a mistake. He makes no mistakes in his tactical planning. He only loses because he didn't have the information that a certain group that he was counting on had shifted allegiances. I actually think Heir to the Empire is a fantastic trilogy of books, so I don't want to spoil it, even though it's been out 30, 40 years. Point being, Thrawn as a character never makes tactical errors. Not once. Not one single time. And then
the thing that made the Vong good was that they existed from another galaxy and were outside of the Force. So it was a completely new thing.
Yep. And that was great because it was something that Luke has rebuilt the Jedi Order and he has no idea, and the Jedis have no idea how to fight and combat that kind of threat. Right. Machismo said, oh shit, he said he forgot he had a gummy, so he's too high to come on. That's Jason. That's what Jason said. Jason Voorhees. I feel like Jason Voorhees has got a lot of gummies lately. So
yes, he has.
So maybe I remember that's odd because Jason Voorhees usually kills teenagers for engaging in illicit substances. So I guess he's come full circle in life.
Yeah, but they're legal now, so it's not a big deal.
That's true.
I don't think it would bother Jason. They'd still kill him.
It's the only downside is Jason's kind of a mongoloid, so it's kind of weird for him to be eating foods like that. I don't think people in public would be too comfortable. We saw him in Freddy vs. Jason. So I'm saying that because I know it's going to get Machismo's ire up. I think he knows. He takes it personal for his friend when you say those kinds of things about him.
Yeah, he's a little bit sloth-like.
John says, I do not understand Disney Star Wars. The whole show was one-liners and scenes lifted from the original movies, and no one criticized that. No, I think I feel like
one-liners scenes lifted from the original movies and plot devices stolen from the expanded universe that they decanonized.
Yeah, it's just okay. I'm gonna go because this is hate.
Poor Mad.
Jason is a narc. No, Mark. Poor Mad. You go hang out with Jason. He definitely needs to chill after he's had his gummies, so that's perfectly understandable.
Drink some tea. Have Jason drink some tea.
Some red gun. Was it red gun tea?
I can't remember what he called it now.
I kind of get why Jason wouldn't want to come on the show. Since I'm on camera, I am pretty intimidating. Jason's probably afraid of me. So sorry about that.
That's true. I would
sure
understand.
That's it.
That's definitely. It's not trying to find the gear that he would need to get on to be on camera or anything. But
it's just not that intimidating when Jason's giggling like a schoolgirl.
That's true. He is. I swear. I mean, so you've talked about it probably every week for 8 weeks for Ahsoka on your on the comics show. I'm sorry for you.
Gross.
That's terrible.
I just check out. I mean, it's rare that I go off camera for anything other than a short break, but I go off camera when we start talking Ahsoka because I've got nothing to add and nothing to really care about on it.
I feel like once Ahsoka pops on, like Brahm's like, I'm gonna go run a dungeon in Diablo real cool for a few minutes.
Yeah,
I'll be back.
I got a 15-minute break now.
Is there a world event going on? Can I hop on for that?
Actually, none of us have logged in for over a month now, I think.
Did they
I
start
got a few
season
matches
2?
in on Mortal Kombat. Did they start season 2?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's still in season 1.
Like, I know season 1 was a huge
like 2 or
disappointment.
3 months. So, I don't know. I have to check in on it.
Yeah.
Is all of our stuff gone in Conan?
All of our thralls were gone in Conan.
Well, I'm
Our
sure that you
buildings
could.
stayed intact.
Yeah,
Slender is
and I did go
excellent.
through and I adjusted so that the thralls no longer have a loyalty decay, so that shouldn't happen again.
Conan,
Let me guess. Jane Theory was the only one that was still playing it at all.
Yeah, well, she clearly hadn't been on in 2 weeks either, because if anyone would have logged in over a 2-week period, it would have reset the decay on the thrall's loyalty, because we're all in the same clan.
Yeah, clan.
Yeah,
we'll revisit it.
awesome ones. Yeah, Conan, I think we'll figure it out. Brahma just got so epically powerful in it, and Slender had so many unpaid interns. It got a little crazy. And my computer is so underpowered that I can't even see when they're doing their cool stuff until I see it on the YouTube stream later.
Did Bride of Slender just find out that all of her thralls are dead?
I worked so hard for the Bears. Bride of Slender. Oh, that was hilarious when I was watching the stream with Matt and Jane Theory. And she was like, who was that? Oh, that's just Bride of Slender. He's just running around getting materials, hanging out with bears.
Grabbing bears.
That's kind of what she does. So if all the bears are gone, that just means she's got something to do again, so she can start playing.
Yeah. It's like she got more stamina in her mobile game.
Low-end laptop, just like I did, and get going. Oh, I think Shredder was the one who who likes those mobile games.
I know. I was saying it's like Bride of Slender just got more stamina for Conan. Now she's got extra to play with.
Oh, it's all right. Let me take this off the screen because the Ahsoka stuff is just stupid.
Why? We're not going to say how bad Wheel of Time was, too?
I didn't even watch it. I watched a few episodes of the first season with the wife, and I hated it. So I was just like, nope, I'm good.
No, I think it's truly one of the worst shows ever made from an adaptation standpoint.
And so what I'd say about Wheel of Time is, we all made fun of Rings of Power and how bad it was, but at least we cared enough to make fun of it. Wheel of Time is so bad that all it generates is apathy and indifference. And
in a certain group, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, I don't understand how I think Amazon had to commit to making these seasons when they bought the rights. That was part of the deal.
We've already committed to a third.
Yeah, I think it's a lot like so I see, like, and this comes up with Castlevania Nocturne, right? Where they, after it premieres, they make the announcement that, it's been renewed for season 2. But with animation, you're generally making an episode order and then you break it up into seasons. So with Nocturne, what was it, like 10 episodes or 12 episodes? How many episodes? I don't even remember.
I don't even know. I think it was 8.
Yeah. So if it's 8 episodes, what I'm going to tell you is there's probably going to be 3 seasons at least of this show, and they probably ordered all 24 episodes at once, and they're just going to release them in piecemeal. This reminds me a lot when Netflix did that Voltron show, and everyone was like, actually it wasn't bad. I didn't mind the new Voltron they did. It was pretty good. And the first season was 13 episodes. Second season was 13 episodes. Then, like, the third and fourth season, one season was 7 episodes and one season was 6 episodes. And what I think it was is Netflix, by the end of it, it ended up being 8 seasons and it was like 56 episodes. I think they ordered all 56 at once. and then they just broke it up into the number of
Yeah.
seasons Netflix wanted to split it up in to get viewership right. And because people don't understand, animation takes years to complete, so they just order it, and it just comes, and then it'll come out.
Order a
I
certain
think
number of episodes, not a certain number of seasons.
Exactly. I think for Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, when Amazon bought the rights, they committed and just said, "All right, we're going to do 4, 5, 6." In Rings of Power, I think it's 7 or 8 seasons.
Yeah, I think 8.
Go, yeah, you're getting 8 seasons. Go make it. You're going to do it every year, and they're going to amortize the cost. So, like, they build all those sets and costumes at once, the big ones, and then they pay it all at once. But then each year the seasons go on, it gets divided across the seasons that they shoot, and the cost to make that show goes down in effect instead of up.
Right.
Not that everybody wants
Yeah.
an accounting lecture. Culture's not here. He's the only one who might dig it.
Well, the thing with Wheel of Time versus Rings of Power is Rings of Power, they didn't own really any rights except for the appendices. So they had to create their own crap from that. They weren't following a story necessarily. Wheel of Time, they had the blueprint. All they had to do was stick to it. And they chose to go as far from it as they could.
Worth of blueprints.
14 books. Yeah.
It was completely laid out for him. It wasn't even like George R.R. Martin being a lazy fat fuck, not writing his books. They had everything.
Yeah, but at least the Game of Thrones people actually followed George R.R. Martin's books when they had them.
Until they were done, yeah.
Yeah.
That is one thing I still hold out a little bit of hope for, is those two guys are the ones that are adapting the 3-body problem. So maybe we will get a faithful adaptation out of that, because they did show that they could follow an adaptation.
That reminds me of
they sure as hell can't think on their own. We saw that from the last few seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, so that's my theory on Zack Snyder. I think Zack Snyder, when he's given a complete blueprint, is a very serviceable, if not good, director. 300 was good because the entire graphic novel was just his, basically his, what do they call it? When they draw the
storyboard.
His storyboard, right? He had the storyboard laid out for him. I actually think Watchmen was very well done. Because
I love
Watchmen, if you're not a big comic book guy, there's a lot of people who pretend to care about Watchmen who've never even read it, because it's like a comic book thing for like street cred. You have to like Watchmen. You have to read Watchmen. Blah blah blah.
I had
Watchmen
to read it in college.
Watchmen
for a
is
psychology
not a,
course.
Yeah.
Or
Watchmen
philosophy course. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's not it's not a very easy thing to adapt. It made people are like, they got mad at Zack Snyder for the one major change he made, which was the psychic
The ending.
octopus, alien octopus, and changing it to Dr. Manhattan. I was like, narratively, changing it to Dr. Manhattan makes 100% more sense than doing.
And outside of the actual graphic novel readers, everybody that was a normie who didn't know that it was like a major book would have looked at that and gone, what the hell was that? When all of a sudden just some psychic octopus comes flying down, destroying a city.
And Zack Snyder got Rorschach right. He got
Very right.
And he actually got the comedian right, because the comedian is a complicated character. Like, you hate him, then you get more insight, and then you actually sort of get a little sympathy, but you still hate what he does. He's not an easy character to get, and they showed that in the movie. They even got in the part where I was surprised they didn't shy away from the alleged assault scene, and then showing that eventually she ends up getting with him, and that's how she has her daughter. These are things that normally I thought, if they were making Watchmen, would end up getting cut out completely. And he kept into, and it's a pretty strong narrative much better than what HBO did with Watchmen when they did their show.
Oh, the Rorschach crap. That was horrible.
Yeah. They converted Rorschach into a symbol for supremacy of some sort.
Yeah. The extended version of Watchmen, I think, is definitely the version to go with, because it does have some of the little extra bits. But Yeah, I don't think it could have been a movie with the original ending. So I think he did what had to be done to bring it to a big screen and make it make
Exactly.
sense.
Yep. Tino doesn't agree that Dan and Dave did a faithful adaptation. Too many characters and storylines. Okay, so there is a
That's
certain
an aspect of time and amount of
yeah.
episodes to a
That's
degree.
there is something that where you do have to make compromises when you bring it to the visual medium. You don't have unlimited time. This comes up a lot. I know when Slender and I talk about Lord of the Rings with Tom
Bombadil and all that
Bombadil,
stuff.
because
Yeah.
Tom Bombadil is a beloved character. People love him. He is absolutely unnecessary for the narrative.
Yeah.
Not in any way needed. Doesn't play into the end game at all. Like spending time with him is just a waste of time. It's just
It's basically
indulgent
just a
filmmaking.
camping spot.
Exactly. And when I think they brought Tom Bombadil in The Hobbit, right? When they made the Hobbit movies, did they bring Bombadil in?
It wasn't Bombadil, it was
It was
the
the Brown
shape-shifting
Wizard
bear guy. Yeah.
and the Brown Wizard.
Oh, well, yeah,
And
Radagast or
and Radagast. And if you want the Hobbit movies, the Hobbit trilogy is one solid 2-hour movie stretched over 3 extra long movies because The Hobbit is not a long book. And that's where you can see the downside of what Tina's talking about. When you try to put all this extra book content into the visual medium, it just drags it out way too much. It's too much. So I think Dan and Dave, when they were going by the source material that was written, made the right calls about the characters they cut out. They kept to the part
yeah.
that was important.
And at least the
actual
characters
important
that
part.
they did have followed the actual personalities of those characters. Tyrion was perfect because they were using the lines from the book. When they started writing Tyrion's dialogue, it was horrible. I mean, it was a completely different character once
It
they got
actually,
past the books.
it's a lot like what happened when Filoni was writing Thrawn instead of Timothy Zahn.
Yeah.
When you've got a guy who's not smart enough to write a smart character, they say things that they think sound smart, and it's just stupid. Like, Timothy Zahn is clearly a smart writer who knows how to write a smart character. Thrawn always comes off as like a Sherlock Holmes smartest man in the room type. If you want to know how
shit didn't in Ahsoka.
exactly. Yeah, if you want to know what Thrawn should be like, if you watch Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch, that to me is the kind of way Thrawn would be. He's always 3 to 4 steps ahead of everybody, even when it seems like he's behind.
That was a great show.
And then they explain, and Benedict Cumberbatch was actually, I think, the general fan casting for Thrawn. That would have been a much better choice. He's number one. He doesn't have a
closer
dad
to
gut.
the build.
He doesn't have the dad gut, and I think he also he's got the Sherlock character is he knows how to speak in a way that's smart and intelligent, where you can see in his in the acting he was doing.
Yeah, all you got to do is slick back his hair, paint his skin blue, and give him some red contacts, and he's good to go.
Yep, and that's what what Cumberbatch did is he infused his line delivery with I'm trying to dumb down what I know to people so they will understand what I'm trying to get across.
Condescending.
It was it was a condescending tone that Thrawn should have for a lot of people, when he doesn't respect them. The way with Morgan Elsbeth and the rest, it should have been condescending, but a smart condescending, not just a Elon Musk wannabe.
Yeah.
Filoni is a plagiarizer, ripped off Lord of the Rings and Narnia in the same episode. Yeah, he never, and I mean, he's also Norse mythology, Balin Skull and Shin Hati are both named after Norse mythological characters. They're the wolves that chase the sun and the moon. I mean, he thinks he's being smart doing these things, but he doesn't add any depth. It's a lot like Matrix, the first Matrix movie, when the Wachowski brothers at the time, now sisters, were making the Matrix. They just were shotgunning any kind of Christian and biblical name and reference with no rhyme or reason to it. Nebuchadnezzar, Zion, like these are not. There's no cohesive narrative structure binding these things. They're just names they got from the Bible to make it seem deeper than it was. So, which, if you look at what the Wachowskis turned out to be, it makes a lot of sense that they were just superficial.
They had no actual understanding.
Yeah. Who thought that the people who made Bound with Gina Gershon wouldn't be able to do something intellectually in depth? Which they love things in Chicago, and they love Joe Pantaleone, which is funny.
You know what I'm looking forward to? That we got a little bit of a teaser this week. Daily Wire is adapting the Taliesin, the Stephen Lougheed books. So maybe we will get a fantasy series that is adapted correctly. But then again, you're going with Daily Wire, who doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this, and it's Jeremy Boring himself who is directing. And I don't know that he's got any directing experience.
That's a bad call.
They did release a little bit of a teaser for it, some behind the scenes type teaser this week on Twitter and on Daily Wire. So we'll see. I mean, it's a Arthurian tale, but it's based in more the reality of it, where they're dealing with like the Roman Empire and all that kind of stuff.
I really liked was it Antoine Fuqua's King Arthur with Clive Owen and Keira Knightley, where it was a Roman era. And
I was gonna say, I thought they already did the Roman era one.
I mean, it's a pretty common new interpretation.
Was a set of books from. It's actually a Christian author, and it's from a almost missionary style story of Arthur. You know, that it's all steeped in a little bit of early Christianity type stuff, but based in the Roman era, but not like overly Christian. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
John over here is a blast from Disney's past. I'm watching Condor Man. I love Condor Man. I actually, because there's not any friggin' physical copy of it available, I did bite the bullet and bought it for like $3 digitally. I love it. Have you guys ever seen Condor Man?
Never heard of it.
It is this really cheesy early 1980s live action movie where a comic book writer and artist gets tapped by the CIA to help recruit an asset from Eastern Europe. And so in exchange for doing it, he wants them to actually build the stuff from his comic book, like his Condor Man wingsuit, he's like Condor Man's like a James Bond Batman-y type, where he's a tech-based superhero. And so he wants him to actually build the real shit. It's hilarious because the Michael Crawford, I think that is his name, the guy who played Phantom of the Opera, the original one, was the lead. He was I think you might know, had anyone seen, he was in like musicals in the 60s, like The Music Man, and
I definitely would not have seen him.
No, or a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I mean, he was like a musical actor, and so he had no reason to be cast as a leading action hero man, but I think they were going for the fact that he was supposed to be a comic book guy. It's got a really cool music, and it's funny. It's on Vudu as well. So if you've never seen Condor Man, if you want, after the show, maybe we'll do a stream and we'll play it for you, because it's ridiculously over the top. But yeah, Condor Man, it was like from 1981 or 82. It was back when Disney was like almost going out of business, and they were just trying whatever they could to be different. That's when they made Tron, when they made The Black Hole, when they were, making movies that weren't really Disney movies. Later on,
traditional animation.
Yeah, so later on they figured out, and this was a Michael Eisner creation, was like, we'll make an imprint called Touchstone, and we'll make movies that aren't Disney ones that will make us money, that are actually rated R or PG-13, and then people won't know that it's us making them until everyone realized that Touchstone was Disney. So,
right.
That was like, they made Armageddon under Touchstone. It was interesting. if you go back and look, and it was like, that's a Disney movie. Yeah, it was. They just didn't put their name on it. They used as, that's why they, like, when they bought Miramax, before everybody found out how much of a troll wine. Here's the thing: everybody in Hollywood knew Weinstein was a troll. They just were okay with it until they weren't. So,
Yeah, I mean, we all knew that.
I can see that Slender is like, oh, I can't see where the button to end the show is, because I would have already done it, because you were talking about Condor Man.
No, he would have done it when you were talking about sports earlier.
No, I know where the button to end the show is.